Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cinema Scrutiny podcast for the first week of February, episode 27. I'm John, and as always, I am back here today with my co-host Billy. Billy, how you doing?
Pretty good. It's been a good week. Snowed in.
Yeah,
Snowed in over here.
a lot of
So,
snow on the Northeast.
yep. Uh, Other than that, you know, same old, I guess.
Yeah, I feel that. It's been kind of a quiet week in the entertainment news industry.
Yep.
I've just been watching normal stuff. Been watching Bridgerton. That's getting saucy.
Nice.
Also, we're going to talk about it obviously end of the season, but WandaVision this week, especially for me, was like probably the best episode yet. So I'm glad
Yep.
to see that's catching up as well.
It's true.
And, obviously stay here with us for the comprehensive review, which I believe would be in 4 weeks now, probably like first week of March.
I think so.
Yeah, so it'd
Yep.
be first or second episode in March, depending. But we do got some other Marvel news today, and then we got some DC news, some superhero stuff, some follow-ups from last week, and then of course we are going to be talking about our endless topic for the week, which was TV shows and how long should they be in all aspects.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. And we're going to start with probably the most exciting news, at least for us, and that is that Wakanda, like the Black Panther, native home, is getting a TV show at Disney Plus, directed. Well, I don't know if it is directed or if it's just like Ryan Coogler is involved.
I think he's heading up the project.
Yeah.
I would assume he's like oversight on everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just says it's in development. So.
Right. We don't have any details, obviously. It seems like it's just kind of like another show coming, But I feel like this could be like a M'Baku type of show, or maybe some like inner politics of Wakanda. Maybe it'll. I assume it won't come out till after Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think
so
that would be
maybe
cool. Like a nice, like a Wakanda, like Game of Thrones politics kind of thing.
yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe like the city will be like all shook up after the events of whatever's gonna go down.
Mm-hmm.
Which could be really fun. Like a descent in the futuristic city. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like some cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's true. Like
It should be fun.
whatever that show
'Cause
is
I
called,
think,
Altered Carbon.
yeah, Altered Carbon. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that Ryan Coogler's still involved, even though it's a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ryan Coogler kind of, in a lot of ways, I think he gets swept under the rug sometimes. I mean, his last project was Black Panther, that he worked on. I'm pretty sure, but and I like that had like a pseudo awards run. It won a couple of like costume awards and stuff. But very prestigious director and filmmaker, Ryan Coogler. He's got a lot on it, like under his belt, as far as like, you know, uh, award-winning projects.
Mm-hmm.
So he was always like a big pickup for Marvel. So to see him like sticking around, through all of the twists and turns of the universe is really cool.
Yeah. Apparently, he was a part of Space Jam. He was like one of the writers, I believe.
Really
The new one, not the original one.
interesting.
Yeah, so that appears to be his latest work. I'm trying to figure out exactly what he did on it. Google's not being great. It says he was a writer, but I don't know what kind of writer.
Mm. Yeah, he might have just been. I don't know who like the head writer was on that, but that's kind of interesting that he would jump in on Space Jam too.
Yeah, it says he did some screenwriting. Looks like he also did it with his brother, who I believe also worked on Black Panther. So, but yeah, no, I agree. I think this has a lot of potential. This is just like random out there, news. I feel like it should have come if they were more prepared with this. It would have come out during the Investor Day meeting thing.
Yeah.
So this to me sounds like
Right.
like it's very far off. But the whole thing is wide
They
open.
probably just had some like deal signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't even know who it would be, but I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be. But I agree. Like, I don't even know who it would be I don't know. I feel like everyone in the like is up in the air right now as to whether or not they're going to become the Black Panther.
Right.
So it's like, I heard a rumor the other day that was so unsubstantiated that like it's not even really worth talking about. That was like they're gonna bring Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger back in like some way and turn him into Black Panther, and I was like, that doesn't even make sense.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
but
and also it's like, yeah, I think I heard that too earlier in this week or
mm,
something, but I don't know how that would play out because I feel like he goes again. Like it was like an obvious like line in the sand between the two ideologies
yeah,
to the first movie. So it was like, how could you let him take the throne unless he has some kind of like you know inner awakening or reckoning that he
yeah.
has dealt with.
I mean, he's also dead.
Yeah, that too. But like that brings up the one of the big criticisms of the MCU is like, does anyone ever really stay dead,
Yeah, that's
or
true.
can people like even really die? Now especially with the multiverse going on, it's like anything's really possible. They could
Yeah,
just pull him from another like universe or something.
yeah,
A
definitely.
good Killmonger from another timeline or something. You
Yeah,
know?
could also use this show to set that up if they really wanted to. Give him the redemption arc that he needs for the people.
Yeah. Oh, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, but would he do it? Would Michael B. Jordan do a TV show though?
Would he do a TV show that led into a movie and like a multi-million-dollar deal?
Uh,
Probably.
yeah, probably, probably.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So we'll see what happens. I think that if you can get most of the, I don't want to say that like Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan are like big MCU names. I mean, they are, right? But like, if you can get the two of them to sign on to a TV show or like, Wanda, like WandaVision,
Yeah,
I think that's, or like Hawkeye, for instance, like he's getting a TV show. I think that
right,
if they'll sign on, I think that you could probably get anyone to sign on given the right MCU style budget.
right. That's true. I mean, the budget is showing off, from what we've seen with WandaVision, especially this past week.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
Um,
you got anything else to say, or do you want
no, we can move on.
to? Okay.
It's exciting though. It's exciting news. I'm really interested to see what they end up doing with all these characters over in Wakanda. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. And hopefully that comes out within the next like 5 years, so we will be able to talk about it. Anyway, let's jump to another
yeah, true.
superhero style article. In that Skydance Media is trying to reboot the Spy Kids franchise, and they are bringing in the original series creator Robert Rodriguez to, I believe, write and direct whatever this new reboot is going to be. It also says that the film will
Yes.
revolve around the activities of a multicultural family, which kind of sounds like the first one, or at least in the sense that they were, I guess, like
That
Latin
is
American.
the Yeah, I mean, like the first movie was, a diversified cast, I would say.
Mm, yeah, I agree.
Um, this is interesting news. I guess like, well, okay, so here's an idea.
Mhm.
You saw the newest uh Robert Rodriguez project,
Yeah, we can be heroes.
We Could Be Heroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That came out on Netflix. Yeah, what did you think of that overall?
Thought
Just
it,
like your overall thoughts, I guess.
it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. All the kid actors were really good. Like the
Yeah.
plot didn't suck. It had interesting. It's like one of those superhero team up movies where like everyone has like the one thing they can do and they all get to do it the one time to like add to the final gotcha. You know what I mean? Like that's how they save the day.
Yeah.
It's kind of honestly,
Yeah.
it's like child Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Like everybody has like a weird singular power, and you're like, oh, that's not useful, and then it comes in handy.
Right. It
Um,
only works if they all like work together.
yeah, and like that's what the whole movie's about in general. But like it was honestly, it was pretty good. It was cool to see Shark Boy and Lava Girl back. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, like that movie actually, and the original Spy Kids and the original Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Like my man puts out a very specific kind of film, but he don't
hmm
miss.
Yeah, it's like he has his. We've talked about this before. Like he has a very like specific kind of theme and execution to his movies,
Mm-hmm.
especially these like more like kid themed movies.
Yeah.
Um, but like that being said, I guess like I think that the We Could Be Heroes project kind of snowballed into this deal, as far as like, all right, can because Robert Rodriguez hasn't really worked on like too many like kid oriented projects as of recent, as far
Mm-hmm.
as I can remember. Other than like Alita Battle Angel, if you want to call that like a kid project or like a kid story.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess it's good that they're bringing him back because it is his property. Like he started it and always worked on it. Um, I'd be interested to see if it's the same family or if they're just gonna totally like restart, go fresh with it.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely bring back one of the kids and have them become like the main parent.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of who else is like in these films, but I
Danny
cannot.
Trejo,
Yeah, I mean, Danny Trejo. I don't think he would come back.
Uncle Machete.
Selena Gomez shows up in Spy Kids 3.
Really?
Yeah, she's the like the Russian girl at the beginning. It's like a one line cameo type role.
Oh,
But bring her back. Why not?
Spy Kids 3 was definitely like the peak. It was
Yeah,
like it
Spy
had
Kids 3
all
was
the big
great.
names. Yeah.
Yeah, Spy Kids 4 was like we don't even talk about it. But if it
Yeah,
if it ends up being like the first three, it's gonna be a banger.
that's true. I like all the first three Spy Kids, honestly.
Yeah, I think they
They're
all
fun.
actually hold up.
I
Really
never
good.
saw 4. 4 didn't really look good on the surface.
Yeah,
So I
four was super bad, but like Jessica Alba was in it, so I was like, okay, I could give that a shot.
yeah,
Wasn't worth it.
well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I think if they dig deep into the actual kind of like with the We Can Be Heroes thing, where it's even like the lore is like light enough, but there's like a connection for some reason to Shark Boy and Lava Girl. It's like just do that. Like maybe like Junie is like in charge of the OSS, or like Carmen, or like Cody Banks or whatever his name was, whatever the other guy's name was. Like their like counterpart. It was
Right.
like Cody Banks and JoJo Siwa or whatever the fuck.
Please don't put JoJo Siwa in this movie. Oh my god.
No, I don't think the movie's gonna have that type of energy. I think Robert Rodriguez, whoever his casting agent is brilliant at casting younger actors.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I just want to see more of that. I don't know. I want to see more Spy Kids. It's fucking
That'd be
good.
cool to see them like blend like the universes, I guess, if you want to call it that. Because I feel like they always had like potential to cross over Spy Kids and
Mhm.
Shark Boy Lava Girl. Because like they really are like exactly the same vibe.
Yeah,
Like it would make total sense that they would show up with each other, but you could potentially do that with this little reboot that they got going on here.
yeah,
Could
that's a
be
good
interesting.
point. Opening it up could definitely also add some nice some villain pacing. Because
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of hard to find like a certain type of villain, but if you can open up to like actual powered villains,
Hmm.
or maybe even like, well, I guess it's kind of like the toy maker in the third one, but like a tinkerer type of dude who has like these giant, like death ray weapons and stuff like that.
Sure.
So that would be cool
Bring
for
back
me.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
bring back Thumb Thumb. That's what I want to see.
Thumbs. Oh my god. They should come back. Those are like a staple like grunt like character that they had to fight. The
Yeah,
thumbs.
no cap. Those are fucking iconic.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of meme material now,
Yeah,
I think, but
big
it's
fan.
pretty funny.
All
Good
right.
stuff all around.
Yeah, I agree. So we're gonna leave Spy Kids for now. Hopefully, we will see that sequel soon or that reboot soon. Hopefully, Steve Buscemi will come back and deliver some godlike one-liner like he did in 2.
He better.
Yeah, but while we wait, we do have a official confirmation for something coming out, I believe, in March, and that is that Justice League has gotten an official release date, 3/18, March 18th, 21.
Yes.
And
Pushed up a week.
Yeah, it did get pushed up a week. And we also got a couple of new posters. I have one of the posters up right now that I thought was really cool. It's like, because it knows it's the Snyder cut. So it's like,
Right.
it's like a great poster of like the film reel, like broken up in rubble, like it's been found.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah,
found
there's
in the aftermath.
these posters are very meta for the Justice League cut.
Yeah.
Um, the more like the closer that this gets, the anticipation is building for me. I don't know about you, but I am getting more hyped and hyped the more I see this.
Yeah, I am. I'm still 50-50. I really need to hear somebody I think watch it first and be like, yeah, that was cool, and then
Yeah,
I'll be like, okay, I'm in it.
that
Just
was a big
because,
improvement.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
like I don't, not that I don't like longer film, but like when I go to watch a longer film, like you need to very much justify I think its existence before I wade into it.
Right.
Just because it's like a lot of time investment, right? So
Yeah,
it's
sure.
like whatever that Scorsese film was,
Irishman.
Irishman. Thank you. I always refer to it as like the book. I hear you paint houses or whatever. I know that's not the
Right.
name of it,
Honestly,
but
any Scorsese movie is just super long. It's a time commitment.
yeah,
So,
but it's like I definitely wouldn't have watched that if people were just like, it's fine. You
yeah,
know what I
sure.
mean? Or like if this is like, it's pretty much the movie. Like it's pretty much just Justice League. If you saw that, I'd be like, well, I did see it, so
Yeah.
I'm out of
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So hopefully, like the extra, I think 2 hours of cutting
Yes. It's
will,
an extra 2 hours.
yeah, hopefully
It's
that will
ridiculous.
bring us into an interesting, like a Lord of the Rings extended cut kind of vibe where it gets even better.
Yeah. We can only hope. I mean, they're really pushing it. So,
Hmm.
I mean, this is a one of a kind movie opportunity. It's never been done before. Bringing
Yeah,
back a project that was made like a few years back and giving it the director's shot. Um, and I love that it really does feel like obviously like it is Zack Snyder's Justice League. That is
hmm,
what they are running it as. But like they really are letting him do whatever he wants. Like especially like you said with like this broken film canister poster.
yeah,
Like nobody like if anything, Warner Brothers would probably look at that and be like, oh my god, like that looks bad on us, type of thing.
hmm,
But they're really just letting him go, let him fly with whatever he wants to do with it. Um,
yeah. I agree. I hadn't thought about it like that. Like this whole incident really is kind of just like, hey, Warner Brothers really. I mean, not that they fucked it up because they didn't take him out of it. They just kind of like he had to leave, obviously,
right.
because he was dealing with some personal stuff. I believe his daughter passed away.
Yeah.
So, like, he kind of stepped back and now he's getting into it. But they are definitely leveraging, and I think it has to do with like the meme culture that like formed around getting the Snyder Cut released.
Hmm.
That like this almost isn't even about Justice League. Like,
Yeah.
like it's not even about Superman and Batman. It's about Zack Snyder.
It's about like redemption of like the
Yeah,
story and stuff. I don't know. My favorite poster is the Justice League flag that's like standing in the rubble.
it's like tattered
Uh,
up.
yeah, it's very reminiscent of the Death of Superman uh,
Mm,
cover where it was Superman's cape, but now of course, it's in black and white, and we're getting the black and white suit or like the black and gray suit for
yeah,
Superman. It's all very poetic
yeah,
uh, in its picture, but
yeah. I agree. I wouldn't be surprised also if this movie eventually came out with a black and white cut of the director's cut.
I think there definitely will be. There's been
Yeah,
talk of that. I don't know if that's ever been confirmed, but I would not be surprised at all. All the promos been black and white, basically.
yeah,
They should. I mean, why not?
yeah.
Uh, I think the story behind that is that when when Zach was like off the project,
Mm,
when they replaced him, uh, he had his version of the cut, but he only had it in like the black and white like film reels.
sure.
So it's very like personal to him, and like through his like release, like this is how I had to cut the movie over the past few years. So like this is what it truly is. It's like damn,
Mm.
that's deep.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean.
So
Hopefully, if this does well, we'll get a lot more, random director's cuts here and there. I feel
yeah, it'd be
like,
fun.
yeah, you see it a lot more with like comedies, I think, because it's just easier. Because like they do every joke like 10 times, right?
Yeah,
So you just like cut them all in, and like those usually you get like in the box set or whatever. You can get like the director's cut.
right.
I actually Get Smart has like a really good one where when you're watching the film, like a little like icon shows up in the top right, and if you click OK on your remote, it'll like jump into the extra cuts of that scene, but like you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And that was a good way to do it. But obviously that works more for a comedy. But I don't know. I mean, I agree. I'd like to see it. Maybe it'll encourage Disney to put out some, like, even if it's not like extended, just like, here's a bundle of like deleted scenes that we like actually did the CGI work on, or like
Right.
just little stuff like that. Like kind of like with George Lucas in Star Wars, where he's like, I rewrote the second half of this film. Here you go.
Yeah. Or like, George Lucas is also notorious for like
Putting in random shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here's like the 15th anniversary of this Star Wars project. Oh, by the way, here's like an extra like 5 minutes of footage that like we never put in, but like it's canon now. It's like, okay.
We're like, all right, we're just gonna go into like when they go to Jabba's palace and they just break into the whole like CGI song.
Yeah,
really
yeah. That was like clearly done in the 90s when the movie was made in like the 70s. It's like, okay, George. Cool.
Yeah, my favorite is what's it called? They just added the most recent addition is that Greedo, right before he shoots Han Solo, in which he shoots first now in the cut, right? He says McClunky.
McClunky.
Which is just like an added thing. Like it comes out of nowhere. It's just like McClunky. I don't know what the ad is, but it actually somebody does say it in Mandalorian season 2.
McClunky.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
God.
like right before they die. They go McClunky and the Mando.
What a callback.
It's intense callback. Like whoever put that in is memeing so fucking hard, and I was definitely laughing when it happened. No spoilers for anybody, but I think it was literally the last scene. Like I think it was that after credit scene.
Oh my
at
God.
the end of season 2. Yeah. So we live in a meme world with memey things.
Memes are good.
Yeah. And speaking of memes, that brings us into our next topic, actually.
Holy.
So last week, we were talking about the GameStop, meme culture, finance situation going on, right?
Yes.
And we were talking about that and how AMC had built up almost $1 billion in revenue to weather the incoming, or not revenue, but like just generated capital to weather the incoming, winter months where nobody's going to come to the theater again. And that was on Tuesday, and we were talking about, maybe AMC was going to blow up. It was looking like the stock could explode in another short squeeze or just interest situation. And at the time of our recording, AMC was, I believe, around $6. It had pretty much doubled its money since closing, where it closed around $4, I believe.
Yep.
And then, just for everyone that, obviously that wasn't financial advice. But if anybody did their due diligence after hearing about that, they would have woken up to see that AMC was $20 a share.
I was one of those waking up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
See such a crazy jump.
AMC had spiked 400% overnight from when we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a little bit of a fun brag, like we predicted the crazy future of the stock market.
The crazy jump of AMC.
Yeah, I mean AMC as of this time is down. It's at $8, so it's still it's in flux. Yeah, it's still greater. I believe right now, obviously, Reddit and their big kind of like stock market agenda, if you want to call it that, has been very, very chaotic. I think since last week, since our last video. Wall Street Bets has jumped from 2 million subscribers or 2 million
followers.
Like followers, whatever you do to a subreddit. Subscribe. I don't know. Now they're at like 7 or 8 million. So they're going crazy. Literally, if you use Reddit like I do, I'm honestly kind of pissed off. Just because it is literally every second article on r/all is just dedicated to like some sort of Wall Street, GameStop, AMC hold.
Right.
And like I'm just tired. Like I just want to see something else on r/all. That's why I'm there.
Yeah. I had the same predicament. I was on TikTok during like the whole week,
Yeah.
you know, and for like 4 days in a row, every time I opened up the fucking app, and like, I had to scroll for like 5 to 8 minutes before I get away from stock content. It's like, I get it. Like, I'm paying attention. Like, I don't have to see all this,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, it's like, yeah, it's a crazy week. It was a crazy week on the market. Of course, we're not financial advisors,
No.
but I'm sure you guys all heard about it, because it was so crazy. Um, and
Yeah.
good for AMC for getting the look, for the meme look.
Hmm.
They deserve it for
Yeah.
all the turbulent year they've had.
Yeah, they've
So
actually they've been able to turn this capital into enough money to bring themselves out of debt.
hell yeah. See, that's
So
it. That's
yeah,
awesome.
so like I think like we said last week, GameStop may inadvertently save the industry, the
Mm.
movie theater industry, and it's just I guess that's just super exciting. It's just like super interesting to see how random happenstance can save a business.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. How, it's crazy how what people can do when unified, I guess.
yeah,
Um,
so we'll see
I
what happens.
I was, following this last week, and a lot of people, of course, were talking about, you got to make this into a movie. You got to make this into a movie. That was just like general consensus online.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, yeah, they absolutely should. It's like The Big Short all over again, in like a different way. Um, so I I wrote like one page on my script writing software, The Big Squeeze. And then like 2 days later, I got the article. I think you sent it from IGN. They said that Netflix acquired. Uh, they're already gathering a team to write this movie.
Yeah,
So
somebody, I don't remember the writer's name, but it was the dude who wrote the story idea that eventually became The Social Network.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was like he put down you know, it was so weird. It wasn't even like he wrote a book. It was like he had patented the intention to write the book.
Okay.
It was like something super stupid that has to do with book rights and film rights and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paramount bought rights to the film. Netflix bought rights to the film. Or like
Hmm.
Netflix is doing a different one. I
Netflix
still,
literally already casted some kid to be like in the movie. I was like, are you serious? You're moving that fast? Like, that's
yeah, I
crazy.
mean, I think you have to. I feel like this is gonna be so fucking irrelevant
I mean, I get it.
in like a
I
year.
get why. Like, yeah, I would move. I literally just started writing like a page, and like I didn't even know where to go with it. Like,
Yeah,
because there's so much stuff to cover. It's like, how do you keep people invested in that? And then all of a sudden, turn around. Netflix is already working on it. Just
yeah,
stop. Oh
yeah. I
man.
would definitely. I would have just turned around and got like the Big Short writers
Hmm.
just to be like, hey, like I don't care how long it is. It can be half an hour. It could be an hour. Like,
Yeah.
we'll get whatever actors you want. Like, just write like a sequel to The Big Short.
Yeah.
Like, maybe
You
make it
know,
a little funny, like a bit more memey.
it would be pretty funny. I heard. I actually also heard this week that the guy that the Big Short's based off of, the guy who shorted the housing market or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
he was one of the people who invested in GameStop. Like he was involved in like he bought like 1,000 or like 1 million shares or some shit of GameStop like while it was going up.
That's crazy.
So the story continues in a
Yeah,
way, but
yeah. I
pretty
mean,
pretty funny
yeah,
how it all works out.
I agree. And hopefully the stock fever will keep everybody invested until they can put out whatever low budget fast ass movie they're trying to put out.
Right, right.
So
I'm excited for it. I definitely want to see it because actually, we actually lived through it and we understand what was going on. The Big Short, we didn't, you know, back then when it was actually happening, like we didn't really know anything
yeah, I
that was
agree.
going on. So now it's like it's relevant to our time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Fun stuff.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so we are going to move out of Stonkland into our last topic of the day, which is that HBO Max has doubled their subscriber count to 17.2 million, and
Hmm.
that is in the last quarter, the last financial quarter which is, I believe, like, it's like the holiday season to like mid February or something like that. I don't know. It's a weird quarter.
Right.
But anyway, basically, Wonder Woman and the announcement of like the movie deal and everything drove like 9 million people to sign up.
A lot
for
of
HBO
traffic.
Max. Tons of
Yeah,
traffic.
I mean, I also saw that Wonder Woman, I guess, like outperformed Soul in like streaming numbers or something like that.
Mm,
I don't know how they came up with that figure, but I saw some article about that this week.
yeah.
But that makes sense, reading this with the subs doubling for HBO. Um, and I anticipate that to either keep going up or it'll remain, about the same. But
Mhm.
either way, I would call it a success for HBO.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
it's pretty funny actually. I like, we just talked about Snyder Cut that has its own hype train running it.
Mhm.
We also talked about Godzilla versus Kong last week. The trailer that came out,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you've seen it. But going back to the meme conversation we just had, the memes for
Oh,
Godzilla versus Kong are gonna
huge.
sell the shit out of that movie. It's crazy. I've seen them all week, and they're hilarious. By the way, I love them. Uh, but that is such like that's marketing you can't buy, like for a studio.
Yeah, I agree.
So like when that happens, I mean it's kind of just like luck of the draw, I guess. But what a great
Yeah.
position for HBO to be in.
Yeah. Obviously, the internet is this mysterious box that generates content
Hmm.
basically at the whims of no one. But I do think that this like memification, as it were,
Sure.
is in strong part due to the fact that these movies are so much more accessible
Yeah.
than if you were to view them in theaters. Like nobody, especially when Kong comes out, the trailer or like the full film is going to be, you can screenshot it, you can clip it, you can meme it up. All you need is $15, and it's
Yeah.
going to be available day one. And I think that's going to be huge for anybody talking about it. Like, even in like Justice League, right? Like the Snyder cut, if there's like some amazing looking shot that gets added, I guarantee it's going to be up in 10 seconds on Reddit. Like as soon as somebody
Probably.
sees it, and it's going to drive a ton of traffic. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like as soon as you see that, you're like, wow, that's like a great picture. Like maybe I should watch a Snyder cut. Or like, wow, these Godzilla memes are super high quality and they're funny. Like let me just go straight to the source. Like maybe seeing it for the meme is worth it.
Yeah. I got to
Uh,
see Big Monkey fight Lizard.
yeah,
So
like even like the Wonder Woman had some memes,
yeah.
but like they're all very high quality photos immediately, just because of the nature of being like straight to streaming.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
hopefully that brings Kong versus Godzilla into a new light, because I don't think that movie would do good numbers really without
It'd be
HBO
it'd
Max.
be interesting. I know like I said it last week, but I really had like no, you know, garnered up hype for this kind of, this project.
Hmm.
I'm behind on the Godzilla movies.
Yeah,
I didn't see the Kong movie, so I was like, all right, whatever. Like they're doing their monster movie thing. It's cool. Uh, they're working the system, the universe thing. But
yeah,
it's good to see it happen, and I think it's also a product of, like we haven't really had any big movie releases for like a year, so now we're starting to get those big blockbusters back. Um, and with something so ridiculous as Big Lizard versus Big Monkey, like
yeah.
that's like meme material
Get some
lined up.
going.
Yeah, it just gets people going. You know, big movie, and also we can make some good content out of it. So
Agreed. Agreed.
it's good to see. Happy for HBO. Also, loving the content they have. It's great.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna start rewatching The Lord of the Rings. I believe
Yeah,
this week off of you were. I don't know if we said it on the podcast, but you were watching The Hobbit again or for the first time.
yeah. I we did bring it up on the podcast. I
Hmm.
didn't watch the last one yet, but yes,
Okay.
I watched the first two.
Yeah,
Um,
you saying that inspired me to rewatch the last one.
yeah.
So that now I'm like hype and I want to watch the originals again. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump out of the ending of our topics for this week and into our final discussion topic, which for this week is going to be we're going to be talking about TV shows. We're going to be talking about how long is too long for a TV series in seasons, whether that's in episodes and episode length. And I guess also maybe we should talk about how short is too short for
Yeah.
certain parts of that. So where do we want to start? Obviously our picture. I guess we should start here a little bit. Our picture of to backdrop our topic is WandaVision. That is 8 episodes. They're about half hour a piece. I believe a little less because honestly the end credits run for about 9 minutes.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think that 8 episodes, half hour a piece, 22 minutes comes out to probably, a little under 4 hours?
Right.
Do we think that is long enough for a TV show?
Well, I've had this topic written down for a while now, just because I think it is like, as far as like TV discussions go, like people kind of come back to this a little bit. Like, I think this TV show's been running for too long. It needs to end. It's dead.
Yeah.
Or I didn't get enough of this TV show. They canceled it too early. Examples of that could be like Altered Carbon, Firefly had a big resurgence like that.
Oh, huge.
Yeah, so I just think it's an interesting thing to approach. I think WandaVision is also getting the same kind of. It's kind of resurfacing the discussion in a way because I think the episodes are a little short for what it is. Of course, like it's hard to debate because WandaVision is trying to do something different. They're trying to hit a certain theme while also telling a certain story, like an MCU story, but also trying to like be in a theme of like a sitcom.
Yeah.
Which kind of limits you to like 20 minutes, 25 minutes per episode. So it's kind of like it's a hard balance for the show to hit. And I think it messes with the flow a bit, but that's I guess more to talk about when like WandaVision's over. We can dive into that more because it's not done yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think WandaVision is set up in a way that, of course, it's like 8 episodes. And I don't think the issue right now. I think that's fine. Like 8 episodes for your first season, to me, that makes sense. Because, in a way, your first season of a TV show is kind of like your pitch to the world. And like in Hollywood, the first episode is always called the pilot because it's going to take the show off. It's like really what you're going to pitch to a studio to say, this is the project I want to make. This is the show. This is the first episode, But I think AMC shows, AMC networks, a lot of times they end up with like 8 episode runs of their first season just because it's a short start, but it in a way it can like wrap things up really quickly and give you like a quick, fresh, this is what it is type of thing.
Yeah.
But like as far as like continuing, like I personally don't like seasons that are too long. Like I don't like 30 episode long seasons.
Oof.
I'd
say
it's
it's
like
a hot take.
it's just like it's so like it adds up. That's what it is. Because if you're not on top of it as it's coming out, then it's like, oh my god, I have to catch up on all this content. Like just today, literally, like I finished shoveling snow. I came inside. I was like, I'm starting the Clone Wars. Started watching the Clone Wars today.
Good job. Clone Wars is 22 episodes a season.
Right. So, and the thing is, they're short episodes. But how many episodes are filler? That's
the answer.
That's also part of the discussion. There's none, right? It's like, oh my god, here we go. Like
Clone Wars is just great.
Just strapping in, right? But I think like looking at Clone Wars, just like overall, like start to finish, it's 7 seasons. there's like it looks like there's like 20 episodes per season, about maybe like
Yeah.
25.
Season 7 and 6 are both short. They're 12 apiece, I think.
Right.
Just because the show got canceled after the 5th season,
Hmm.
and then the 6th season was like the unaired season that
Yeah.
ended up coming to Netflix, I believe. And then when Disney bought it, they bought a 7th season to be the final season.
Right.
And those shorter ones play out on streaming services more for a movie. But yeah, I think the normal run for a TV show on television is about 23 episodes, 22, 23 episodes.
Right. I personally I like a 16, like a tight 16 to 18.
Sure.
That feels good to me. But I think like 6 to 7 seasons is like that is like if you have the right writers and the right team behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and everything's going according to plan, I think if you can execute a 6 to 7 season show and it slaps, like we're talking like that's gonna be like a top tier show.
Yeah.
Like Breaking Bad is like I'm pretty sure it's 5 seasons, but like what a great show. Like it's one of my favorites of all time, and like it just I think it's just because like it knows when it's over. It knows when it needs to end. Like
Yeah.
we're not gonna drag this out for too long. We don't have to drag it out to 13 seasons, to 15, whatever. But I guess some shows kind of require that. I mean, you could look at NCIS and all the different
they
variants to that. Like,
Fuck.
I mean,
shows.
they still exist. They still put them out. Like, I feel the same way. My parents love NCIS, and I don't get it.
Yeah, well,
I'm not
okay.
in that crowd.
So
but
the problem
people
with
still
those,
watch.
to me, is that the reason that they're so long is because nothing happens. There's my hot take. But I mean, it's true, right? Because like when you're watching NCIS, all of the characters in
I
season
think
1,
that's fair.
they're all the same in season 15. You know what I mean? It's just because like that show is
It's like Grey's Anatomy.
yeah, it's like a procedural where it's like the characters don't change, but the story just like these, because they're like one-off stories, right? Like there's not really like too much of a continuation between NCIS episodes. So it doesn't really matter. Like you could watch all of them out of order, which they air out of order all day, every day. And like you wouldn't bat an eye, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. Like
Yeah, I
they're
know.
they're made for syndication.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, a lot of TV used to be, which I think is why we start to see the shorter run times. Especially as now it's less of arcs or single stories and much more like you are going to get a singular story told in 12 episodes and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance,
I mean, that makes sense.
yeah, my big like argument for long TV shows, and I agree, I think 7 seasons is the perfect amount, or as Community would say, 6 seasons in a movie. But for instance, like Star Trek, right? Star Trek not only has, I don't even know how many fucking seasons, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has like 7 individual
Wow.
television shows.
Whole lot of them.
Yeah, overall 413. Never mind. Hold up. Sorry, I made a watch list to try to inspire more people to watch all of Star Trek because I think that it is worth it. So I cut out all the filler. I cut the show down by 43%. And if you want this, just I guess email us and I'll I'll send you the link to the Google sheet. But we're talking total number of episodes in all of Star Trek, 733. And
It's a lot.
all of them are canon. But if we're talking, like when we're talking about these shows, because I think it's a great evolution to see where TV has gone and why certain shows are becoming shorter. And we can start with, for instance, the original Star Trek run. 3 seasons, 30 something episodes every season. None of them have anything to do with each other. They all, which did great for the show in the long run because it's one of the, the most syndicated television shows ever.
Yeah.
But ultimately, no story progression, no story changing. Then it hits Next Generation. Next Generation would do very occasionally. They would do double, like 2 episode arcs. They love to do this where the episode or the season, which these were 24 episode seasons around there, which I also think is good, would end on a cliffhanger. And they did this for like pretty much every Star Trek show after this. The season ends on a cliffhanger, and then the first episode of the next season would wrap that story up, and then you would keep going. Next Generation did that. They also occasionally did mid-season things, like between, that you take off like 3 weeks for Christmas, like the holidays. They would do a 1 or a 2-part episode there. Deep Space Nine, which was like the next series, they started doing, a lot of recurring, and one of the first serialized shows, really, where you start to see like recurring storylines. You would get like 3-episode arcs, or like the last 12 episodes of the last season are one giant continuous story.
Right.
And that's all good, but now you get to Picard or Discovery, and both of those have become, this season is about this one thing, and that is all you're going to get. And those are
it's
also
very much more like that, like linear story that like kind of like similar to what I was talking about. It's like shorter, tighter, one thing.
Yeah, it's just like one narrative instead of 24 smaller ones.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not to say that Picard and Discovery are bad. Like, they're good. And I don't know, like there's still a place for the episodic kind of like one-off show, and I feel like it's starting to disappear. And it's hurting the soul a little bit. You see a little bit of it in Mandalorian where it's like pretty good. But even in Mandalorian, one of my critiques was that like everything's disconnected until the end, and then the last 4 episodes it ramps up.
Yeah, but that is true. But if Mandalorian was, let's say, 8 episodes longer, would those filler episodes matter as much? Like, I mean, like, would it affect the way you think about it? Because I think if there were 8 extra episodes, and I guess you extended the story, maybe there were like 4 more important episodes and 4 more filler episodes, and you kind of like sprinkle them, wherever they need to be. Like, I think that's like, I kind of like, an arc of like a season where it could be, of course I like, front to back tight story nonstop, but also I also like a show where it could be like, all right, the first 2 episodes are, very like in tune with like this story, and then maybe episode 3 is like this filler one-off thing. I like that too, because it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it lets the characters kind of like breathe a little bit. It's like you don't have to be locked in on this one thing at all times, and we can see them in like a different aspect. I think that like kind of expands a little bit on the property that you have.
No, I definitely agree. I think that's actually one of my favorite parts of the Clone Wars, is that it brilliantly executes these like 3-episode arcs. So every 3 episodes are contained, but then you get a new, new totally different thing. Like you'll get a clone trooper arc on Kamino where they're like training, and you get to see how clones train and how they're like bred for battle. And then all of a sudden the next episode, entirely other side of the galaxy, Ahsoka Tano and Anakin Skywalker are like hunting down some bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Like it's a great way to get the stories across without having like this one continuous longer narrative. And I think that there's definitely a spot for these like shorter stories that I think really kind of need to see more of the light, if that makes sense. Like there's so many great Star Trek episodes just between all of them that are definitely like one-off episodes that would not have room in Picard.
Right.
Like, I don't even know what the name of the episode is. Oh God. I'm trying to think. There's like, The War Drum is a great episode for people that watched Star Trek, Next Generation, or like The Measure of a Man. And these are like the episodes where like, it's like interrogation episodes where they question the morality of certain events and like certain things and philosophies. And like obviously that's what Star Trek's about. But
Yeah.
imagine if in Picard they just like paused it, because we both see Picard, or if like in the Mandalorian for the wider audience, if they just paused it and they were like, let's just have an episode where we go to like a courtroom and we're gonna have like a courtroom drama for an hour. And
Right.
like it's gonna make sense in the lore of Star Wars, and it's really like thought provoking and cool, but like the pacing of shows has become so tight where they're not like, it's almost not even TV shows, right? Like, especially made for streaming.
Yeah.
Like the length of a show is very much just like, instead of making this like 20 episodes to order, it's like, here's a story and we're just gonna clip it where we feel like it. Like even with WandaVision, originally it was 6 episodes, then it was 4, then it was 8, because they're not actually making episodes, they are just making a story, and they're like, we'll just cut it however, and then whatever feels the best to give it to you every week, we're gonna give it to you that way.
Right.
Like if, for instance, like if WandaVision came out on Netflix, it would basically be a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Like even just the other day I was talking about Video Game High School, which was a YouTube TV show, like series, right? And that was like 10 minutes a piece. It was like, YouTube content, short, to the point. But then when it went to streaming, it's just a movie. Like you can only watch it in like a full movie form. Just because I think with streaming, it would almost make like, it didn't even make enough sense to have like the small buffer between episodes. They were like, people are binging everything now so quickly that it's just like, oh shit, sorry, knock something on my desk.
Yeah, but I agree. Yeah, like people, yeah, it goes back to, I think I brought it up last week. Like people are very fickle in like the way they approach their content. Like it's very easy to have someone fall off, with like their interest. And it takes a certain amount to like keep people invested, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, okay, so like you are obviously like all about Star Trek, and like
Yeah.
you have like the list where like all the fillers cut out.
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever a point where you're watching Star Trek and you're like, this is too long, like these can be cut, like this episode I could have missed this, like I could have got past this without seeing it, or anything like that? Like did you ever feel like it was too long? Because like I think the like time tells like Star Trek didn't run for too long, because they just started a new show if it ran for too long.
No, I agree.
And it started a new story. So I don't know. Did you ever feel that way, like watching any of them?
The bad ones, yeah. I think that that's just how it feels about a lot of things. I mean, not even, that might be a poor way to phrase it, because they're all pretty good. The original Star Trek for me felt long, just because it is just too dated for me personally.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, if you enjoy it, it's not that bad. I think that the Next Generation goes the perfect amount. I really do think, because all of like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, like the Next Generation era, as they would call it, of Star Trek,
Right.
all of those are 7 seasons and 22 episode, like 43-minute TV series.
Yeah.
And to me, if it is good, a 7-season, 24-episode, 43-minute long show is the best type of show you could possibly ask for.
I would agree.
If Into the Badlands went to 7 seasons,
It'd be crazy.
be amazing. Be one of my favorite shows. I mean, it's still, even at 3 fucking seasons or 4 seasons or whatever it ended up being, it's one of my favorite fucking shows. I love that show.
It is really good.
But there was never an episode that I watched when I was watching it for the first time that I was like halfway through it and I was like, this sucks so bad, I'm just gonna skip it. Like, I watched every single episode. There are, like, I rewatched Star Trek on binge, just in general.
Yeah.
As like a nice background noise, and because it is great content. But there are lots of episodes I skipped now. Like just today I skipped, I think, like 3 in a row. just because I'm like, like that plot's kind of boring. Like it takes a while to pan out, blah blah blah. Like it's not the best episode,
Right.
or like I just remember it. And I'm like, I don't really need to I know this beat for beat. But in the moment, never. It was never like, wow, that episode was a waste of my time. But that could definitely be just because being able to watch it on Netflix means that it's not like, wow, that episode sucked, I have to wait a week.
Yeah.
Which, no spoilers for WandaVision, and none of the episodes suck. But some of the episodes in the beginning are very slow.
Sure.
And it was like, I watch it, and like if I were to recommend to somebody now, they're like, oh, should I have been watching it every week? Probably not. Like I think this right now would probably be the best time to jump in if you haven't already started, because I think that there's enough to the point where like by the time that you're like, all right, come on, like let's get this moving, like it finally starts to get moving. But yeah, I don't know. For me, obviously, I just love Star Trek a lot too. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I guess it depends on the property and like the story they're telling. And I guess it all hinges on, walking that fine line of, are we overdoing it?
Yeah.
And the example I gave before we started recording today, I was like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Which is sad to say because there was a time where we used to watch Walking Dead. We used to get together with our friends and watch Walking Dead every week. And it was great. It was fun. We enjoyed the show. But I think I could speak for all of us who watched that show at that time. Like, we all fell off at about the same time. It was like season 6. Yeah. It was like, it was too much. It was like, this is played out. Like,
yeah, we did it.
Yeah, it's like we did everything that, like, obviously, like, more could have been done, but like, the interest just fell apart, and I think that just came with like the circumstances of what they were doing with the show.
Yeah. The Walking Dead had definitely run its course.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if they're still doing a final season or if the final season already aired. I know that they talked about it's done. I know they have that second Fear the Walking Dead show.
Yeah, and they have a third one coming out.
Yeah, I mean, great for them. Me personally, it's been played out for me, like I said. And that just, I think that just comes with the territory of, what property you're working with or what story you're working with. Like I said before, like Breaking Bad, like they knew where it was going to go. They stopped it where it needed to stop. And, they kind of followed the footsteps of like what you said. They did, the 5 seasons in a movie. The movie came out years later, but it happened. And they did a spin-off show too, which is, popular in its own right. But I don't know. I agree with you though. Like overall, like the 7th season, 20 episodes, it's like a nice sweet spot. It just works.
Yeah, it's great, but it's definitely harder to get people into, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think your first 2 seasons are gonna be like, you're either gonna fly or you're gonna fall right into the dirt.
Yeah, but I mean, this could be a totally different topic for another day. But I think the problem that we're seeing right now due to streaming and the quick reactionary cutting room floor of tech companies in general is that everybody wants, I think a lot of people genuinely do. I think like what we're saying is not like a strange or like unheard of opinion. Yeah. I think 7 seasons, 40-minute episodes, 20 episodes a season is like a lot of people would agree like that's a great spot for a great TV show.
Yeah.
So everybody wants that. The problem is Netflix cuts every fucking show off at the knees in 2 seasons. And it's this thing where if a season is like if a show is too long, honestly, people have like this fear of starting it. Like it's too long, it's gonna take fucking forever to catch up. Because especially when we're talking about these longer shows, right? Like 20 episodes, you're basically talking about like 20 hours. You're talking about a full day of sitting in front of the television watching one season, and there's probably like 5 or 6 of them while you're deep in it, right?
Yeah.
And so like people want to jump on at that 2 to 3 range because they want to be able to, they don't want to jump on season 1 because they want to be able to have enough content if they really like it. They don't want to be waiting because everyone's lizard brain from Netflix is like, oh, I can watch the entire show, right?
Yeah.
But so nobody gets on season 1. Nobody gets on season 2. Then they cut the show because nobody's watching it. Or like it's not doing the crazy numbers that they want, like Altered Carbon. And then the show's dead, and then everyone's like, where are my 7-season good shows? They don't exist. And like for me, that was like it's tough, especially with Netflix. And again, this is a different conversation. I'm just tangenting now.
Yeah.
But like Altered Carbon, for instance, great first season, okay second season, not bad, good.
Yeah.
Like just like a 6 instead of the 10 that the first one was.
Yeah.
And then immediately they're just like, you know what? We're just never gonna make any more of this. We're gonna cut it.
We're done with this. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah, like insanity, right? And like I guess if you're looking at the money and you're putting out a movie every week, like Netflix is doing, like there's throwing money at everything, right?
Yeah.
What you end up seeing, and especially they're chasing like runaway success with like say like Stranger Things, like they want more of that. But like if the next generation were to come out today, after the first season, I guarantee it would have been canceled. Because the first season is just okay. Like the show,
it's a slow start.
It's kind of shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's good, right? But it's like it's a totally different show. Yeah. And the show doesn't get good until season 2 when Riker grows his beard, and obviously that's where we get the film term or the TV show term called growing the beard, which is like when the show gets good. Right. But like I do strongly believe that. I think that's Next Generation is one of and especially the shows that spawn off of the success of the Next Generation. Like Deep Space Nine is my favorite sci-fi show of all time, 100%. Great. No doubt. Sure. Everybody go watch it. It would never exist today if Next Generation came out and you didn't give it another season or 2 to grow its legs and come into its own and be its own thing. Or for instance, like Schitt's Creek, like really funny ass comedy that just ended their last season last year. The first 2 seasons kind of ass. And like they even
Creek is funny.
Yeah, they'll admit it too. Like they were like genuinely, if they didn't believe in us enough to give us that 3rd season, because I'm pretty sure they won Emmys at the end. Like the last season, Emmy award-winning, amazing comedy, right?
Yeah. Like
they needed that room to grow and to find the beat and to make it one of like the best comedies to come out recently.
Yeah.
And I think it's like it has to do with this thing where people want the longer length, but they want to hop in on it at the right time where it's not too long. But then because they're waiting, but they don't want to hop in when it's too short. And they're waiting so that nobody fucking watches it and then it dies.
Yeah, it's an interesting... I mean, that's all part of the Hollywood game, I guess. It's like, it's all about how fast can you get people on this and have this shoot off,
Yeah, that's my fucking rant.
No, I mean, I think it's all valid points. Like, you gotta let some things live a little bit before you just call it quits on it.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything is gonna pop off in its first season. Like don't kill me for this, but like Big Bang Theory, like, the first season, people fucking blew up off it. Like,
no, yeah, it was like,
my mom loves Big Bang Theory.
Big old young Sheldon.
Dude, I would never watch Young Sheldon, and I hope she doesn't either.
But it definitely fucking blew up.
It did, but it blew up off the coattails.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing of like, Better Call Saul off of Breaking Bad or Fear the Walking Dead. It's the same concept. It's just Young Sheldon. It's stupid. But like Big Bang Theory was stupid. By the 4th season, it was like done. It should have been canceled. It should have been over.
Yeah.
But it's it's hard to, again, it's like you got to walk that line of like, well, are we going to cancel this? Or is there too many viewers here? Like, it's also a conversation of greed. When do you want to, like, are there a lot of people watching this? Yes, but you know how much longer can this story keep going before it becomes a joke in a
Yeah.
couple of years? That is a problem that like studios face on like a regular basis, which it's understandable, but that's the tough decisions of Hollywood, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, listen, all I'm going to say is that Game of Thrones season 8, one season too many, huh, guys?
Tank, big time, dude. Oh my god, that's a great fucking point. Season 7, you could have ended. Well, I mean, I guess you couldn't have ended it. I think it was like a cliffhanger. Not that I know, but yeah, good point. What the fuck?
You had the perfect number, guys. Yeah, fuck.
Talk about like literally like 32,000 feet in the air to straight into the fucking dirt.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Mm.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that does actually, surprisingly for our what we thought would be a rather short episode, we are now an hour and 5 minutes in. So I
Hey, why
believe
not?
I believe it is time to call it quits.
Yeah.
So that has been us. We went far and wide on the the TV length conversation, and hopefully you guys enjoyed, where it went. I feel like we went off topic a little bit, but I don't even know if it was off topic. I feel like we just explored a lot of facets of TV.
I'd say it was not relevant.
Yeah.
You know.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah. Speaking of TV, next week, against John's better judgment, we are going to be talking about Cobra Kai, the pilot. I think season 3 just came out for Cobra
Season
Kai.
4, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's another one of those shows that's getting a little too long now that I don't want to start it.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It's a lot of content to cover, but we're going to talk about the pilot.
Yeah,
and
we'll see.
if it doesn't grip us, we'll drop it. If not, maybe we'll ride it along a little bit.
Yeah,
See
I've
what
been
happens.
told by multiple people this week that it is a drop everything and watch type of show. Like, you got to
Yeah.
see this. But, I told them that about Star Trek, and then nobody fucking watched it. So,
I did see the first season of Cobra Kai actually a few months back, and I liked it a lot. The only reason I didn't continue it is because it's my ongoing problem of too much content on my plate. But what are you gonna do?
yeah, I feel that. Hold up.
It'll be interesting to revisit. Oh, John's getting arrested.
Yeah, that means that it's time to end. So, like I said, I'm going to be watching Cobra Kai in a prison cell this weekend.
Yes.
And hopefully you guys can all watch the pilot as well if you haven't already. If you liked this video, you liked the discussion that we had, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Honestly, especially sharing. If you guys have friends that want to know about the news, the cinema, they want to see it scrutinized, send them our way. We would love to have some more people engaged in the conversation.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I believe that is everything. So if we're all good, we will see you next week. Have a good week, guys.
Have a good week.